Hello everybody, myself Professor Pallavi Gule. So today we are going to see about the cultivation practices of pecan nut. Pecan is valuable horticultural gift of in North America to the world. In USA it is considered as a queen of nuts because of its value both for wild and cultivated nuts as compared to the other nut fruits which have been grown since time immemorial. Pecan has been under cultivation only for about 100 years but has gained enormous popularity. Pecan occupying the fifth rank among the leading trees nuts because of its excellent nutty flavor. Pecan nut is the rich source of the fat, protein, carbohydrates, and minerals. Origin and distribution. Pecan is said to be native of in North America, but it was also opined that it originated during Cretaceous period in the Canada and moved to south in the recent geological times. Spanish explorers found the pecan growing along the Mississippi River and its tributaries. Besides USA, the worldwide distribution of pecan confined to Australia, Canada, Egypt, India, Israel, Mexico, Peru, Turkey, and South Africa. In India, it is grown in the Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Uttarakhand, and the Nilgiri Hills, where it was introduced in the mid 30s. In Himachal Pradesh, its plantation remained confined to the areas of the Kangra, Mandi, Solan, Kulu district, which contributes 700 hectare areas. Taxonomy. Botanical name of pecan is Carya illinoisus, which is a member of the genus Carya belonging to the family Jugulandaceae. The basic somatic chromosome number is 16. All the species of genus Carya are together known for the hectorious and natural hybrids between the pecan and other hicotories are called as hicans. Natural hybridization among the hickories is a main source of confusion in the characterization of the Carya species, which are 20 in number, except the four all are native to America. On account of the excellent flavor, pecan is only commercially hickory, while the shagbark, shellbark, and a mocker nut are also have a sweet kernels but poor in cracking quality. Pecan nut trees. Soil. Pecan nut trees can grow in a varied soil conditions, ranging from sandy loam to the clay loam and alluvial soils of the river and small streams, but they also have a certain common characteristics. The soil should be deep, loose, well drained, and well aerated to great depth. Pecan trees are largely indifferent to the alkalinity and acidity of the soil. They can be grown satisfactory where the pH range from 5 to 8. Adverse effect of highly saline soils on a pecan tree performance have been noticed. Pecan rosette cause a zinc deficiency is more severe on the alkaline soil. It needs a warm temperate climate and extremes of both temperate and subtropical climates are undesirable. It requires a long frost-free period from the time when growth starts in the spring until the nuts matures in the fall. It is influenced by the minimum temperature and number of chilling hours during winter. An ideal climatic environment for the pecan nut cultivation consists of growing season of 240 to 280 days, mean temperature of about 26 degrees Celsius, heat unit accumulation of 5000 degree days per 7 months. Nut growing period mean temperature for 3 coldest months between 7.2 degrees Celsius and 12.8 degrees Celsius with at least 400 hours of the chilling. High humidity affects adversely the growth, fruiting, and regularity of bearing in the plants by preventing the pollination, increasing the incidence of disease on the leaves and nuts. Hailstorms and the winds of the high wind velocities are harmful to the trees. Varieties: Mahan, Nellis, Maramek, Desirable, Western Shalim, Rohovek, Burkett, Chickasaw, and Stewards. These are the nuts of the different varieties of the pecan nut. Rootstock and propagation. Seedlings of the various cultivars are generally used at the rootstock for the pecan nut as there is no clonal rootstock. For raising the seedling rootstock, the seeds are stratified at 4 degrees Celsius for 70 to 90 days. Cool stratification of the nuts for 70 days followed by a soaking in a GA3 for 48 hours gives a good germination and subsequent seedling growth. After stratification, the nuts are sown in the well-prepared nursery beds at the spacing of 5 cm from seed to seed and 20 cm apart in the rows. After sowing of the seeds, the nursery beds are mulched with 10 cm dry grass and light irrigation is given. As the seed starts germinating, mulching is removed and the proper weeding, irrigation and hoeing is done at regular intervals so that the seedlings attain the graftable and buddable size in the year. The seedling rootstocks are budded with a patch and angular method in the July and the tongue grafted in February and March. Planting. Should be transplanted to their permanent planting site during the dormant season, late winter or the early spring, just before the bud swelling is best planting period. In the flat land, the pecan nut is planted in the square system at 10 to 12 meter spacing, winter in the slopy lands with a contour and a terrace planting system. The spacing depends on the cultivar and the fertility of the soil. The distance can be reduced to 8 to 10 meter on the soil with a low fertility. The response of the pecan to the high density has been found encouraging as the increased density of the trees give the high yields and returns per meter of the land. The income maximizing the spacing are 10.7 to into 10.7 meter and 13.7 into 13.7 meter for the precocious cultivar desirable and the non-precocious cultivars towards respectively. Training and pruning. As the pecan trees advances in the age, they become larger and get crowded, making the pruning, spraying, harvesting operations difficult. Pruning of the pecan nut trees is therefore desirable but is often neglected. Training of the pecan begins in the planting when one third of the top is removed and the branches are allowed to emerge as high as 1 to 1.5 meter from the ground level. The pecan nut trees are trained in a central leader system, and from the second year onwards, the subsequent branches should be spaced spirally at 30 to 35 centimeter from one above the other. Once the framework is established, very little pruning is done. Mature trees terminally dried and the broken branches should be removed and overcrowding branches also removed after a year. Pecan nut trees is very long growing season and requires a proper management throughout to ensure the good plant growth and productivity. Mulching of the basin with dry grass helps in conserving the soil moisture, control the weeds, and adds the organic matter on decomposition. Rats poses a big problem and the pecan plantations and requires a protection by batting against the rats and keeping the basins free from the weeds and cultivation regularly. Pre-emergence and the contact herbicides are generally used to control the weeds. Duran and simazins are widely used herbicides. Besides, a paraquat can also be used as a contact herbicide. Pollination. Pecan is monoecious trees. The staminated and distillated flowers are borne separately on a same trees and organized into a catkin and spikes respectively. The pecan has a compound buds enclosing the floral and the mixed buds in separate buds scale but with a common outer scale. The floral buds develop to produce a catkin but mixed bud grow either into the vegetative shoots or in a single distillate inflorescence. There is a complete or a less complete dichogamy in the pecan, which often poses a main difficulty in the pollination, especially in the isolated plantings. The most pecan cultivars requires a cross pollination for a good fruit set. Wind is a pollinating agent which carry the pollens for about 900 meters. It is suggested that for a good fruit set, pecan planting should have 3 to 4 pecan cultivars well dispersed in the orchard for or at least 10% male catkins. Manuring and fertilization. Pecan responds to the fertilizer application very slowly, and effects on the growth and the yield are observed after the 2 to 3 years. Thus, the leaf analysis may not hold a good in determining the nutritional status of the plant. It has been suggested that the pecan should be applied with 100 kg of farmyard manure every year in the month of December. In addition, applying 500 gram of NPK mixture per year age of the tree up to the 10 years. The full bearing tree of 18 years and above should be given 8 kg of the mixture every year. Pecan trees are prone to the zinc and the manganese deficiency, which can be corrected with a foliar application of the zinc sulfate and a manganese sulfate at the rate 0.5%. Irrigation. Adequate moisture is required to improve the growth and productivity of the pecan. Irrigation improves the kernel yield, nut weight and diameter, appearance, and the soil oil content. Pecan needs a proper soil moisture all the year and requires irrigation even before a shock opening, and it reduces stick tight and the viviparous nuts. The pecan trees are commonly irrigated through the flood basin and drip irrigation method at weekly intervals. Maturity and harvesting. The nuts are harvested when the husk and a hull covering the shell become fairly loose. A single shaking will bring down the bulk of a mature nuts, which can be collected on the plastic sheets. A fully mature trees can produce as much as 25 to 40 kg of a dry hull nuts. The hull should be removed soon after and prevent a standing of the shell. The enhanced splitting, the hull nuts may be then dipped in the water to moisten the cell and spread out in the sun to dry. One method of salting an split nut is to boil them in a salt solution for a few minutes and rehydrate and store them. If stored in the plastic bag, pistachio will last for at least 4 to 6 weeks in the refrigerator. Drying of the nuts, ready for harvesting, fruit kernels of the pecan nut. This was all about the cultivation practices of pecan nut. Thank you.